welcome to multifacetedmaven.co. It's your girl, Tony Shanae, aka the Multi Maven. Today we are going to be jumping into our best friend tag, Galentine's Day edition. So I know that you all have seen my bestie, Jasmyn. But today we will be formally getting to meet her, as we will be doing a little Q&A about our friendship, giving some friendship advice, and then also doing a little who's who later. So we'll also do some self-care, so just stay tuned. So y'all, Jasmyn is on the channel and we are super excited to do a little Q&A. So I asked a question on my Instagram page. If you haven't already, make sure that you follow me at the Multi Maven, and I will be linking my name below. And we got some really good questions.
I can't wait to see what they are.
Yes. So we have the questions pulled up and we're just going to be tapping through, and Jasmyn has no idea what the questions are. She hasn't seen them yet.
Nope.
I have seen them and I don't even know the answers to some of these, so we're gonna just work through this together.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's kick it off. So, how long have we been friends?
You want to start that one? Or should I let them know how you stalked me in college?
I knew she was gonna pull that one. Okay, so first things first. We've been friends since 2013, and I know that the next one is going to be like, how did we meet? So I might as well just jump right into that.
Oh yeah, we can hit both.
Yeah, so we've been friends since like August, September. It was August.
It was first semester.
It was first semester in our sophomore year, and let Jasmyn tell it, I was stalking her, but
yes,
I was not. I was being studious.
Okay, so I'll start off. So, sophomore year, first semester, we had 4 classes together. We were both in the college business at the same time, so we both had the same prereqs and general study classes that we had to take. And so I kept seeing this girl, Tony, in all of my classes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is she following me? Like, she's in all my classes. Like, and then I'll never forget, Twitter was like super hot back in college. And so, she ended up adding me and was like asking me about math homework. Never once had spoke to me in person or in class. And I'm telling you, I saw Tony a good like 5 times out of the week. Easy. Like, yeah. Easy. And like, you know, I always was sitting in the front of the classroom and she was always in the back because of our last names, but like I always knew she was in my classes. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so strange that she's asking me what the math homework is, but she's like never said hello.
Listen, so what had happened was this math professor was like, if you're not here on time, like don't even come in type thing. So I basically made it to class late, so I couldn't get in, and I'm like, damn, it was the beginning of the semester. Literally when I say beginning, like this happened in August, like at the end of August. Yeah. So we're like weeks in, and I couldn't get into class, and I'm like, damn, like the only person I know that's in this class is Jasmyn, but we don't know each other. But I'm like, fuck it, like I need to get the math homework or like figure out what happened. So I like asked her like, are you in my math class? Even though I knew she was in my math class, but I didn't know her.
That was the kicker. It was like she asked if she was over here contemplating if I was in the math class, trying to make me feel that way, and I was like, but I've seen you in my classes. Yeah. And then you started working at Best Buy.
So let me tell y'all, Jasmyn is so friendly. So we were just like kikiing, you know, and I was telling her like, oh, I work at Bed Bath & Beyond, but like, so I was working full time as a college student at Bed Bath & Beyond, so like 35-40 hours a week, and then I also was like doing like 15-16 credit hours. So I was just like, you know, leaving class like super stressed, and Jasmyn was like, oh, like I work at Best Buy, like I've been working at Best Buy, like, you know, like I could get you in. I'm like, what? Say less. So yeah, we started working together. So now, just to paint the picture, and she said I was stalking her, okay? We have 4 out of 5 classes together. Now we work together. And when I say work together, like we are like,
I mean, it was a lot of time spent.
It was a lot of time spent together. I think that's how we got close for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say work definitely for sure. that next semester, for those that don't know, I am a Delta, so that was the year that I crossed. So I crossed in 2014, that spring.
Yes.
And I also was working full-time, had a full class schedule, and was going through the process of, you know, wanting to be a Delta, and it's very time consuming, anyone that knows that.
Yeah.
And so I had my person to cover for me a lot at work, because there was just a lot of conflicting schedules as far as my work schedule, and so I think that helped us for sure too.
Y'all, I wanted to murder Jasmine.
It was bad.
Spring 14, we joke about it even to this day that like we never want to experience Spring 14 ever again.
No.
So in the beginning, Jasmine did not tell me like that she was like interested in like joining like a sorority or anything like that. Like we talked about a lot of things, but like we just never discussed that stuff. And I remember like they had like their like informational and stuff, and ironically they had their informational in my resident hall. So I don't know if I saw her with I didn't see her with my own eyes, but basically like it came to me like, oh yeah, like Jasmine went to this event, and I was like, no she did not, like no she did not go. We would talk about this. I think so I'm like, no, Jasmine didn't go. And they're like, yes, she did. And I'm like, no, she didn't. So then on our next shift, I'm like, girl, could you believe that somebody is saying that like you were at this meeting? And like, I know you weren't at the meeting. And she was like,
I was.
She was like, I went, but like only because I was supporting Jewel, which made some sense. Like it was like, oh, okay, like.
So Jewel was my mentor at ISU,
yes.
But she also was a Delta.
Yeah, so she was like, yeah, like, you know, like I didn't go, like I was just there, like I was supporting my friends. This is how she painted it for me. So I'm like, okay. And mind you, like Jasmine like never lied to me, like never, like it was believable. Like now I'm repeating it sounds dumb, but it was believable. So I'm like, oh, okay, you went, cool. So then like it's like a time period between like, you know, that event and then like, you know, actually like starting your process or whatever.
Yeah.
So time goes on. I'm like, okay, like whatever. So then I don't even remember exactly how I called Jasmine up, but
I missed a morning meeting.
I called Jasmine up. I realized she was like, you know, starting her process. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So like Jasmine said, I'm supporting her. Like I am like, you know, whatever you need, I got you. We still have a couple classes. So like whatever she needs, like I'm there, you know, and she had a good support system outside of me as well.
And
So then first off, I want y'all to notice that with these stories, like everything, like on college, like everyone talks. Like there's just no secrecy of anything. So at this point, people know that Jasmine and I are friends. Like we're low key, but like people talk. So like, it comes to me now at this point. Yes, I know Don, but like we don't have like a real friendship. It comes to me that like that Don was at the what is it? Campus Town.
Getting
Don
stuff
is
made.
at Campus Town getting stuff made for Jasmine. They're telling me her number and like her name, like all this. Now, mind you, this is like quote, this is personal information, and now I am pissed because I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff for her, and
how
she
come
can't
you didn't
even tell me. And I'm just like,
I didn't know.
yeah, so at this point, I don't even know. It's maybe like a week before everything goes down, but like, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know that she's done. I don't know her name. I don't know anything to get her anything made or anything. I'm not close with Dawn, so like, I just felt like an outsider. So when it comes down to it, I'm like, I'm not buying her shit, okay? I'm not doing nothing because she can't even include me on all this stuff. I was mad. I was mad, but you know, we discussed it.
Yeah.
And Jasmine didn't even know.
And I literally had to tell her, like, Tony, I had no idea until the day of.
Yes. But I was like ready to flip a table.
Yeah, I was like, Tony, I had no idea. I didn't know what my line name was until we probated. Had no idea.
Yeah. So
I was like, news to me, because even Don, like, he did not share that information with me. Again, if you guys know, Don's a Kappa, so but he did not share that information with me even once he knew all my information. Like, he would not tell me.
Y'all should have saw it at the probate, y'all.
And I tried.
I was literally like, I'm gonna take my little funky picture, but I am, she in trouble.
She was fine.
I got over it. I understood. We communicated and it was great.
Communication is great. Like, what do I call you?
Yeah.
Bestie.
Period! That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Yes! You better! You better!
Bestie?
Yes, that's
I only refer to her as Tony, and like, she hates that I never spell her name with a capital T, but I don't care.
Oh my god!
But I don't care.
God,
the only time I will ever say like Tony is like if we're like deep in a conversation. That is the only time I will ever use like her full name. Or like if she just says something like, I don't know, I'll be like Tony Wells. I'll say the full name at that point. I'm like,
when I'm doing something, she be like, Tony. That's what she says.
no, seriously, Tony.
Yeah, that's exactly what she says.
With no capital T.
Oh, the no capital T kills me. Yeah, Bessie is definitely it.
Because mind you, she also doesn't call me Jazz. Like when she refers to me around other people, she'll say Jazz.
Thoroughly.
But she calls me Jasmyn with a capital J full out. And a lot of people don't call me Jasmine.
I
say Jazz.
hardly ever call her Jazz. Like that is just not my thing. Like she is Jazz to her little friends, not me. That is Jasmyn, and I do call her Bestie all the time.
All
like
the time.
even via like text or anything, it's like Bestie. Like
Bestie.
that's what we say.
That's what we say.
I do call her like Backbone, like which came years later, and it was just like I just felt like like she's my support system. Like I started calling her Backbone, but like that's kind of like more like in a like different context. But like on a day to day, it's like Bestie.
Bestie. That's a good question. I mean, personally for me, I don't think that this part was difficult for our friendship. I mean, it seemed like a pretty seamless process. Because again, those that do know me, like I am probably like the most common friend out of multiple friend groups. And so I've always, I don't know, I've never picked and choose as far as like who comes to what. I just invite everybody, and I just want everyone to have a good time and get to know each other and enjoy each other's company. Like I'm all about good company and like good energy and good vibes. So I never had a problem merging friendships. So like prior friendships, my ships, anything, never had an issue doing that. It never made me feel uncomfortable. And it was honestly, like I said, it was pretty seamless. It was pretty easy. I like to think that we're likable people. And so, like, when I bring Tony around people she may not know, or when she brings me around people that I may not know, I like to say, like, we're not hard to talk to or, like, hard to get along with or almost, like, fit into. Like, we like to have fun, good energy. Yeah. We kick it. We know, like, it's all good.
Yeah, literally everything she said. I think the biggest thing is that, like, like our core group of friends, we all went to the same college. So it's just like there wasn't really like a real merge. Yeah, there really wasn't like a huge merge. And then like Jasmyn, like her family, even her personal household with like her husband, like they're very like event heavy. So I feel like that helped with with merging, because like even I think the biggest merge actually was like merging our friends with like Don's friends, because like Don has like a lot of friends that didn't go to ISU.
Yes.
So like I think that was like more of the merge.
I would agree with that.
We did a true merge with Don's friends. Yeah. Our merge is like we all had, I think the reason why it's hard for us to qualify it as a real merge is because like she said, we all had like common knowledge of each other. So yeah, and then I would say that the real merge really happened when they got married, because we were all like in the bridal party. So like I feel like that's when we like spent the most time with each other. Like we traveled together for like the bachelorette party and stuff like that. So like, and we had no problems. Like there hasn't been any issues with like merging any friends. So
no issues at all. What? This came from your Instagram?
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start this one off.
Yes,
so
please do.
So do we like each other friends that we do not mutually share? We don't really have like a lot of friends that like
we don't
mutually share.
Those one-offs.
Yeah, we just have like one-offs.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like this is the thing. We're adults, so like I don't have to like all of Jasmyn's friends, and she doesn't have to like all of my friends that we don't mutually share. But the thing that I think goes without saying in our friendship, there's certain boundaries or like things that we don't even like talk about. It's just how it functions, and it's just like no matter if I don't care for Jasmyn's friends or not, I'm gonna respect them because they're Jasmyn's friends, and like there's just a respect factor. So like even if I don't care for someone, I'm gonna respect them and all of that, because again, like she does have like a lot of events and stuff, so it's just like, you know, to make everything like seamless and like function well, it's a respect thing. But like I don't have to care for like or like all of her friends, and she doesn't have to like all my friends.
I was gonna say I would echo all of that and agree with all of that, just because I don't know, I think we're at the age where, you know, it's not like there's any beef, quote unquote. It's just you don't have to care for everyone, which is okay. Like Tony and I are best friends, but I'm not gonna be like, Tony, you must like all of my friends and, you know, treat them this way, whatever, etc. I think it just comes down to, like she said, a respect thing, and I think we're on the same page as far as that goes. We've never been in a situation where like either one of us have been disrespectful or like or even like, you know, the whole like not speaking thing. Like we're not big on that. So like even if I don't care for you, like I'm still gonna like speak to you, like if you're like in the presence of, like if it's something for Tony, like, oh, like, hey, like how are you, like small talk, whatever. That takes no effort to do. But yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think because we know these things, like she doesn't put me in any awkward situations with things that she know that I wouldn't be comfortable with. So it all works out.
That's another thing. You gotta know your friends.
Period.
Not really.
Okay, so Jasmyn and I are really like, we don't really argue.
No.
But I do remember, okay, one time.
Which time are you gonna give? Because I'm over here like.
Okay, so this was also, well, this wasn't the beginning. This is like a few years ago. So
I feel like I know what you're gonna say. But go ahead.
This was a few years ago, and it was Jasmyn's birthday.
Yep. That was the only one she could pull.
This is the only one I could pull. So Jasmyn, for her birthday, like, it was like a surprise birthday.
23rd birthday.
Period. Okay.
23rd birthday. It was the only.
It's the only time we really had anything.
It was the only ever. Remotely,
it wasn't even an argument.
It wasn't an argument, but it was the only thing remotely close that I think she could have used for this question.
So it was Jasmyn's surprise birthday, and like, again, like, you know, ride or die, I'm handling it like cool. And I just felt like, you know, Jasmyn was just like in La La Land. Like, hello, Jasmyn, what's going on? Like, and I am really like set in my ways. Like, if I don't feel like, if vibes are off, bye. So yeah, I just remember like, you know, I just wasn't vibing with what was being put down. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
And then she tried to leave, and I caught her out in the front.
Period. So I tried to leave. I'm like, okay.
And I wouldn't let her. And
she was like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I was like,
and she was like, we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. I was like, no.
Oh yeah. So like, this is my thing, which Jasmyn do not be for.
No, she was like, we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. Like, I want you to enjoy your night. And I was like, no.
Yes. So
I want to talk about it right now.
That me and Jasmyn really never had issues, but like anything, like sometimes.
This is 4 years ago.
So I definitely, to me, I'm like, the common courtesy is like, it's her birthday, it's her surprise, like, this is her event, like, don't be that person.
Out the window.
So I'm like, you know what? And I'm like, I got an attitude. So like, I'm mad, like, don't bring that energy to her birthday, like, just leave. Yeah, she was not having it. She called me literally outside of her parents' house. And she was like, yeah, like, what's wrong or whatever? And like, clearly there's something wrong. And I'm like, no, you know, we could just talk about it tomorrow. Like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And she was like, I'm not, like, we're gonna just stand here then. Like, you're not leaving. So yeah, like, we
talked about it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, no, we unpacked it right there.
Yeah, because here's my thing. Again, I am very like because she's right. I was in La La Land. I was drunk. I didn't know what was going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, again, this is still during the years of me and Tony trying to understand each other and how we operate and how we respond and things like that. So I wanted to just make it very clear that if my response wasn't what Tony was expecting, that didn't mean that I intentionally was trying to make her feel that I didn't care or that she wasn't appreciated.
Yes. And another thing to that point is that, like, okay, so that was Jasmyn's 23rd birthday. Most of our friendship has been spent privately. So, like,
that was I would say that was, like, pretty, like, close to, because we were in college before then.
Yeah, we were in college before then, but, like, Jasmyn and I, like, we hung out really, like, close. Like, we never really, like, hung out, like, in group settings or anything like that. Jasmyn has never been to my house. Like, when we were in college, she'd never been to my home.
Wasn't invited.
Bye. Never been to my home. Like, I wasn't, like, hanging out with, like, her friend. Like, we were just always, we worked together and all of that. We would just spend time together. Like, I would come to Jasmyn's house. So, like, converting from, like, us just going from, like, us hanging out to, like, now it's, like, a big thing. It was just, like, it was different. So, I think that played a role in that as well. Like, adjusting to, like, being around, like, having group setting things was just different.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, but we talked it out and we were fine.
Look, I'm taking you back to your sister. Stop.
It was literally, that's why it's, like, hard
over.
to even justify that as an argument, because it was just like,
we are
just a little,
I was gonna say, and we also are, like, the type of people now, like, we don't let things linger. So, like, what I will say is, even if we have a disagreement, which I don't even know if I want to call them disagreements, but there are lots of times where me and Tony have very different opinions, and we're okay with that. And I feel like some friends are not okay with having different opinions. Like, you know, like, if you confiding in your girl or whatever and trying to, you know, tell her something, if you don't agree with that, it's like, but why don't you agree with what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We don't operate that way, because, again, like I said, there's been several times where, like, I would, you know, push or challenge Tony a little bit, and then there's times where she'll push or challenge me a little bit, and, you know, and it's a fair question. Well, why would you do this? Or, like, why do you feel that way? Or do you think that made sense? Like, you know, and you have to have a friend that holds you accountable in those type of situations, because, again, like, you know, it's great to have someone that you can confide in, but it is also really great to have a friend that could be honest with you. And I think we both appreciate honesty more than anything. So, like, you know, if some drama happens or, like, something goes down, I fully expect Tony to tell me if I did something wrong or if I am not thinking correctly.
So true.
So, like,
that's so true.
I almost think she's being a bad friend to me if she tries to sugarcoat it and be like, yeah, girl, you right, da da da. What? No, like,
we just ripped the Band-Aid off.
No, just rip the Band-Aid off. And, like, it's one of those things too, like, you know, in friendships, like, even if I don't like what you say, like, that's okay.
That's true too.
Like, no big deal.
I will say this, like, to the point of, like, us not arguing but having, like, difficult conversations. I remember it was also, like, post-graduation, like, you know, we're, like, a few years into our friendship at this point, and Jasmyn learned me, like, so quick. And it was just, like, it was even, like, uncomfortable for me, because it was like, dang, like, she picked up on so many of, like, my responses, my mannerisms. Like, she would be able to, like, look at me and be like,
it's the Virgo in me.
Whatever. So, yeah, she would just, like, read me. So, like, there were times where, like, Jasmyn would ask me something or, like, tell me something, and I would give, like, my general response of, like, when I don't like something, but I'm like, or, like, you know, like, I would just, like, skip over it. And Jasmyn would be like, no, you don't like it because you didn't, like, answer it. And that is my way, like, avoidance is my, like,
way of saying she hates something. Pretty much. So if you ever are, like, really excited to tell Tony something and she's like, oh, okay, or or she has no follow-up questions, it's pretty likely she didn't like it. So,
yes. But, like, none of my friends ever challenged me on this. No one ever, like, nothing. Like, you know, they'll say something and I wouldn't really like it, and it would be like that.
And I am very much, but why?
No. Jasmyn be like, yeah, no, like, tell me you don't like it, or like,
but
you know, whatever. And not that she would change, like she said, like not that she'll be like, okay, like I'm gonna change it or like whatever, but like she'd be like, no, like you don't like it, or like this hurts my feelings when you do X, Y, and Z. And it was just like, dang, like this girl really is like in there.
Yeah.
And that was, like I said, that was really different for me. Like it wasn't difficult, but I am happy that we were able to go through that like years ago, because like now, like I mean, we just fly through those conversations.
She just lays it on me, okay?
Yeah, like I'm just like, yeah, I don't like it.
She'll be like, no, that's not it.
No. Yeah, so like, and it's not a big deal. Like she's never offended, like again, because we went through those stages, like she's never offended. Like she could buy an outfit and I'll be like, yeah, no, I don't really like that one.
And
or
still
like,
wear it.
And still wear it. And that's fine. Like, you know, like it's not a different thing. Also, Jasmyn and I are night and day, but we're also so similar. So it really balances us out, because like we are so different, but like we also be like, wow, we're so same. Like it's just it's weird. So yeah. After argument, we don't argue.
We don't argue, but if we did, for sure me.
If we did, for sure Jasmyn.
If we did, 100% me.
Because she's always gonna be like, let's talk about it right now. Like Jasmyn is in the now.
I am very like, I want to talk about it right now. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know how you perceived my actions, my responses, and why it made you feel that way.
Yes.
And what we can take now to fix what is going on, so we don't have those problems in the future. Tony, stubborn. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, she's going to the end. If you have an argument with her, nope, I'm not doing it. Like, that is very much how she is. I'm not doing it. And I have no problem breaking the silence, but like, again, it comes back to like knowing your friends. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta know your friends. I'm a lot more emotional than her. And I'm like, but is she mad at me? Like, what did I do? Like, you know, and so quite frankly, my anxiety can't handle it. So I want to talk about it now.
Right now. And honestly, like, to her point, like that would be how it would go if we were in those situations. But like, we're never really in those situations.
No.
So
yeah. I feel like
you just described me in a couple words already.
I'm like, I feel like we have already like touched on this a little bit through these different questions. But I mean, like I said, Tony, I mean, I said she was stubborn, but there's so much more to that. Like, yeah. I mean, I think Tony is a very caring person. I mean,
thank you.
You're welcome. Very caring person, and like, she's just very passionate. I mean, she cares, and this is one of the similarities that we like have. It's just that she really cares about the relationships that she has with other people, her family, and like, she values those relationships and those friendships, and like. Yeah. Just like myself, like she's putting 110% effort into that friendship. So it's like, once you have decided to be Tony's friend, you're in. Like, so like, I think I operate very much the same way. Like, you're invested at that point. And so I think that is like a really strong quality to have. And then again, like I said, you know, she's just really passionate. She's someone that I look up to a lot. She's pushed me. Oh, don't cry. She's pushed me a lot just to do some of the different things that I'm personally passionate about, because as you guys know, she's a lot more confident than I am. I am not that confident.
Bye.
No, big facts though.
That's one of my words.
Yeah. One of her words. But seriously though, like, so it's just nice to have like someone in your corner that like constantly pushes you, and like, it's like nice because it's like Tony will do stuff and it inspires me to do stuff, and it inspires me to do better. And so I think us having that friendship really allows us to just be better people. I mean, you really are who you hang with, and I spend a lot of time with Tony, and there's a reason for that. And so it's just a
big
really
facts on there's a reason for that.
Yeah, like there's just, you know, it's just good energy, good vibes. I mean, she's a lot more than just like my best friend. Like, she's family. She's like molded into my family at home with my husband and my son, but like my parents, my sister, like, I mean, she's in there, like to the point where like, if Tony doesn't come to like a holiday, they're like, well, where's Tony? Like, we had my niece's birthday yesterday, and my sister's like, why is Tony not here? And I was like, it's a blizzard outside.
Yeah, like, well, first let me answer the question. Jasmine is just like the friendliest, nicest, caring person.
Drink with us. Are you okay?
Is like, Jasmine is so nice to even strangers, like, which I just cannot really relate to in that regard. But like, she just goes out of her way. Like, there's like no limits for the people that Jasmine like really care about. She is like such a mamiana even before she like had kids. Like, she's just gonna like make sure that you're good at all times. She's just like super supportive. Like, whatever you do, if I tell Jasmine that I wanted to start a clothing line tomorrow, she'll be like, okay, like, what do we need to do? How can we lock in? Like, what do we, like, where can I help? Like, I'm gonna wear the line. Like, that is like how she operates. She's super smart, like super determined. Like, me and Jasmine, like, and that's what's crazy. Like, when we think back on college, like, we would be in the library together, we partied together, we went through so many different things, like so many phases at this point of our lives, like, together. She's just dependable. Like, my whole viewpoint on friendship changed within Jasmine and I's friendship. And like, not to say that like I never experienced friendship before, like any of that, but it's just like Jasmine like really just showed me like a whole different spectrum of like what friendship is. And our friendship has experienced so many different phases. Like, we went through, like, I would consider Jasmine my best friend like well before we were even spending a lot of time together. Like, obviously that's hard to say because we spent a lot of time like work, but like true friendship time, like, we didn't really start doing that until after college. But I still considered her my best friend even while we were in college because we were just like going through so many different things. And like, now to her point, like, we spend more intentional time together. Because like, she pours into my cup, I pour into her cup, and like, you really need that, especially like just like with everything that goes on in life. Like, it's good to have those people in your life that can just like help level you up and balance you out.
Don't make me cry.
So yeah, that's Jasmine. I'm gonna say, but I don't know what she's gonna say. We have a lot of memories.
Honestly, there's just so many that I'm over here like
overwhelmed.
Because I think about like all the memories we've made like in the house with different events that we've had, but then I think about like all the memories we've made like from traveling. Like, we went to DC, we went to Vegas.
Oh my god.
I feel like I need to pick one from Vegas.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
You go first. Let me doodle on that.
Y'all, so one of my favorite memories with Jasmine is her wedding.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So I don't even like, it's even weird talking about this because like we don't really reflect on it a lot. But like, we never even had this conversation, so this is gonna be weird or new. But like, you know, Jasmine picked me as a bridesmaid, which at the time, Jasmine was like, oh yeah, like, I don't know why you thought you wouldn't be in the wedding, but I really didn't. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in the wedding.
She was delusional.
I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in the wedding. Like, obviously I was gonna be invited and all that, but like, I didn't think, I wasn't like, yeah, I didn't have entitlement of like, I'm gonna be in the wedding. Jasmine has like a lot of friends, hence she had 10 bridesmaids. So she had a lot of friends, and like friends that she's been friends with like, you know, longer than I have. So it was just like, okay. And then she has quite a big family. Like, I just didn't know. I was like, okay, like, I was set on like me possibly not being at her wedding. So she chose me to be a bridesmaid, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is like, my heart was touched. Like, she asked me to be a bridesmaid, and her and Don had like a bridesmaid proposal, and like they wrote like, well, she wrote letters, Don gave like speeches, and
we've worked together, we've had class together, we've done a lot of things together.
And it was a lot. So it just started from there. And like, you know, we do the normal shower stuff, we do the bachelorette trip and stuff. And this is my first time being in a wedding, being at Jasmine's wedding, and it is something like just super. Also, like, it's one thing to be like in your friend's wedding, like your best friend's wedding, but it's another thing to like have like a real relationship with their husband. So it's just like to be able to experience the wedding and like stand at that altar and like see your best friend in her wedding dress come down and like
I'm gonna cry.
you know, just be able to experience that and know like that you like support the union and like, you know, just seeing like that day that like, you know, your best friend prayed for, that like, you know, just seeing like all of that at once. It's just like, I'm not an emotional person, so like I didn't cry, but like internally I was touched. So and then it was just like Jasmyn read her vows to us while we were getting ready, but like to see her like really like go through that, which was hard. Like Jasmyn's private. She thinks that we'll talk about that later, but like Jasmyn's private and like she's not really like, everyone knows, like I said, claims Don. Don't touch Don. Don't look at Don.
Don't even look at him.
Don't even look at him. But like she's not like just like this like overbearing wife or girlfriend. So like to see her like in front of all of us like
and actually talk about my emotions.
Yeah, like
Don,
talk about her emotions.
That was never a thing.
And like the like all of that in front of everyone, like I was just shook for her.
I love you unconditionally and without hesitation. I vow to love you, encourage you, trust you, and respect you.
Because like that is just
on a
out of her comfort
microphone.
zone. Yes, and she had to go first, and she was like,
I went
what?
first. I purposely asked to go first because Donna's a way better public speaker than I am. I was already like shitting bricks. I was so nervous, and I was just like, I just need to go first to get it over with. And I knew if someone was gonna cry, like it was gonna be me. So I wanted to just get it over with.
Yeah, so it was just, that was like one of my favorite memories, like the entire process, but like specifically being at the wedding, standing there, holding my bouquet and seeing her prepare to marry the man of her dreams.
Oh my gosh, I am not doing a sentimental memory.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't, because that just took me out.
So I know which one you're gonna say.
Yeah. So this was first semester. We're backtracking. So first semester about when me and Tony met. So we so happened to be down at U of I at the same time. There was something going on. There was an event. I knew she was going. She knew I was going. We're going to the same event. I'll call you when I get there. Cool.
Yeah.
So I went down with my friends and we parked the car. And anyone that knows me, like, when I have got to pee, I have got to go, like right now. Like it's not
a drill.
No, it's not like, oh, we're gonna just wait or we're gonna wait in this long line to get in here. No. And so I found Tony, like, cause she was parking too, and she parked right like by us.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, like we got there at the same time. It was perfect timing, and we got there and clearly we were under the influence, and I was so excited to see her, and I was like, oh my God, Tony. And so like I gave her this big hug, and then we fell in the street, in the middle of the street at that, in front of everyone. And mind you, like we have heels on. I think I had a skirt on.
She had a skirt
I'm
on.
like, oh,
it was crazy.
It was bad. And then like we're on the pavement and we're laughing so hard, and I was like, no, but seriously, I have to use the bathroom.
Yeah, she's like, this is an emergency.
Yeah, like
if I don't go right now, it's gonna be bad.
and
So I don't remember whose event it was, but basically like I went up to the door and like we figured it out and we got in,
and the line was long.
The line was long, but I don't even, like I said, I don't remember who I talked to or whatever, but it worked out. Jasmyn and I went to the bathroom
and we were good. It was great.
The advice to long friendship is communication.
And be ready to have uncomfortable conversations.
Be ready to have uncomfortable conversations.
Like, if you don't feel good about something, like, again, like I've never felt like if I didn't feel good about something, or I've never felt hesitant to open up to Tony. Even if it like, you know, if it had nothing to do with her, or if it had something to do with like something she said or something she did, I've never felt uncomfortable to be like, hey Tony, like how you said this like came off this way and my feelings were hurt by it. Can you like explain why you respond that way?
Yeah.
But the reason why is
that's a real example.
That's a real example, because that like that has come up before. And like it opened our eyes. We'll use that example, but like it opened up our eyes to a few different things that, like, one, Jasmyn, it's not personal. Two, Tony, this is how my responses are being perceived. So it taught us both something.
It did.
In that situation. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, remember that like everything isn't personal.
Yes.
And that was a big learning lesson for me too. And like that came down to like you learning your friendships, you learning your friends, me learning Tony as a person that like, oh, she's not like this with me. It's with everyone. Like, it's not personal. And so like, it now got to the point where like Tony now, like, she opens up really well and stuff, which I'm really proud of you for doing. But like, again, like, you have to know your friends. Like, there are certain topics that I am very like wall on, like,
period.
No. But again, like, we've established,
and I don't push her there, you know, like,
yeah, and it's to the point now where we've established that comfortability and being able to be transparent with each other without knowing that, like, I'm not coming from a bad place, like, but like, have you thought about this, or like, have you looked at it from this way? And sometimes that's really hard for friends to do, and sometimes that comes off like you're basically telling me I'm a bad person, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, have you thought about it this way, or like, you know, just an example though.
Find you a friendship that it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, and it shouldn't feel like a task. Like,
yes.
It should feel organic. It should feel comfortable. It should feel honest. It should feel genuine. Like, and I think,
and when it starts to feel like work, evaluate it. Not saying end it, but just evaluate, like, how did it get there, and like what you need to.
How
feel
did it
supported.
get there, and why is it there, and why do you feel that way? Because I feel like in those instances too, like, some of those friendships can get like pretty toxic, like, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy, and yeah.
So that's our advice.
Yep.
But I love Tony. She's like the greatest friend in the whole wide world.
Yeah, look at that.
But if you guys can have a friend like Tony, please find a friend like Tony, because I feel so blessed.
Oh, I'm blessed. Love you too, bestie.
Thank you for joining and tuning in to our Best Friend Tag Galentine's Day edition. Thank you so much, Jasmyn, for coming on the show. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
You know, what questions did
them
you
comments.
like? You know, what things shocked you? You know, we answered a lot. We hope we answered all of the questions that you all sent in.
And not send more.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 another time. So be sure to follow me and Jasmyn. I will drop our names below, and stay tuned.
Thanks.